much red in here.
Thomas has got the first down. Oh, Thomas! He's going to go! Down the right sideline! Touchdown, Houston!
Listen, we're a sleeping giant, too.
It's called a five-slammer jammer.
And somebody record me. Where's Kris acting stupid? So I'm looking forward to all of that, too.
Don't sleep on Houston. Don't sleep on Houston.
Again.
Let's go!
Go Coogs! Let's go!
It's so good! The dream remains alive for the Houston Cougars.
Let's raise Coogs. Hey.
Welcome into this special edition of Pod Slammer Jam / Let's Rage Coogs. We are doing our live reaction show following the University of Houston's announcement, Selection Sunday. They know where they are going. They know where they're headed. They are the 2 seed in the South region. They will begin on Thursday in Oklahoma City. The Houston Cougars, the top 2 seed or the 2nd seed, I should say, in the South region. We know what that means for potentially the Sweet 16, Elite 8, but none of the Houston Cougar players, and most definitely neither did head coach Kelvin Samson want to get into it. But Kris, Dayon, what are your thoughts on Houston being named the 2 seed in the South region here for the 2026 NCAA tournament?
As I thought, as I expected, as I mentioned to you and some of our colleagues, Houston would be in the South region, in Oklahoma City. So I'm looking forward to March Madness starting. Let's get it.
Let's get it, man. This is what we've been. Well, was this what they've been waiting on? That's what they've been playing for all year, and it's here. And we can't take it for granted how hard it is to get inside the tournament, and let alone win a game in the tournament. 1 game at a time. I'm ready.
Well, their road to a back to national championship and to finish the job that they came so close a year ago starts on Thursday in Oklahoma City against Idaho, where they have to take on the 21-14 Idaho team. And looking at the bracket in the South region, we had heard noise about who the 1 seed would be, and it turned out it is going to be Florida in the South region. For Houston, the 3 seed in the region. Actually, let me see if I can share this on the screen so that we can see it as I list it out. Any thoughts on, as I pull it up, any thoughts on the initial bracket for Houston, Kris, in terms of potential opponents?
I'm not even going to do all that. Let's just talk Idaho. Idaho shoots 28 threes a game. 28.
I'll do it.
So
I'll do it.
28 threes a game. They average 30. They shoot 36% from 3 as a team. They average defensively about 73 points a game and score about 78 points a game. So the defense is probably not on Houston's level, but they like to shoot a lot of threes, and Houston run them off the line, and that'd be the key. But they won 4 games in 5 days to win the Big Sky Tournament Championship to get here. They were a 7th seed in the Big Sky. So they beat the 8 seed, the 2 seed, the 3 seed, and the 4 seed to win the conference championship.
Dan, your thoughts on
what for me? I mean, thanks for the insight, Kris, with Idaho. I mean, I expect us to win that game. I'm not gonna act like it's gonna be a pushover game. I got those keys that Kris just said, run them off the 3-point line. But in that next matchup, whether it's St. Mary's or at Texas A&M, I think that's going to be a good one. St. Mary's is a legit team.
That'll be a tough test both ways.
Not only can they really shoot the ball, but they can offensive rebound and they can defend as well. And Texas A&M, they got a lot of size, a lot of grit. Some players still, a couple players. There's well, I think I remember last time we played them. I think maybe 1 or 2 players left over, but they're a tough, gritty team. They're in the SEC, so you know they're going to be battle tested. So I don't want to say it's an easy road, but then kind of just foreseeing that if we can see Illinois, that's a team that I watched maybe 4 or 5 of their games. They're a legit team. I don't think it's an easy road, but I think it's a tough road and a good road that we can definitely achieve the ultimate goal of getting to where we want to get to.
We're looking at the other teams in the region. Like I said, Florida's the 1 seed in the South. Houston's the 2. The 3 seed is Illinois, and you have 4 seed Nebraska. 5 seed Vanderbilt. The 6 seed in the South is North Carolina. Just looking at those top 6 seeds, a lot of good name recognition from those matchups, and a lot of eye popping potential matchups for Houston to think about if now this is looking way ahead where we as fans can do that. None of the players will do that, and certainly none of the coaches. But the headliner is the potential rematch of last year's national championship game between Houston and Florida, which would take place in the Elite Eight at the Toyota Center. But like to your point, Dayon, Houston has a chance for a handful of different rematches in recent years,
Mm-hmm.
starting with potential the second round matchup either with Texas, and we know what had to go down to. They were running
You
out
out,
of
Andy.
players at one point. What was that, Chris?
You muted that for a second, but I know you were saying Texas A&M and the potential with maybe meeting Illinois again. We seen them when they had the big fella a couple year ago.
Yeah, Kofi Coburn. That was way in the
Coburn, yeah.
2022. That was during the 22 run.
Mm.
Um, so there's a lot of potential for rematch. Just within just going up, it could be a run of familiar faces, familiar opponents for Houston down the line. Even St. Mary's, who Houston hasn't played in the NCAA tournament, they've played them. They
Played him at
played them
Dickies.
they played them 3 years ago at Dickies. That was the year when Jarvis Walker and Marcus Sasser were on the team. So a lot of potential familiar opponents, and then a couple of new faces and some exciting matchups. But it all begins on Thursday when they take on Idaho from Oklahoma City. And the best time of the year is officially here. We have a bracket, and Houston got what they wanted, which was the second seed. I mean, really, what they wanted was to be in the South region. That's exactly what they got. Now they have to go out there, and it's the road to 6 wins begins on Thursday.
And if they win Thursday, they play the Aggies on Saturday. If the Aggies beat
Oh,
St. Mary's, which may not, that's not an easy thing for the Aggies either. So, but I'm now in old man, old head modes, one game at a time. I'm focused on bashing Idaho on Thursday. Tip off time and network will be announced later on tonight, and then we'll go from there.
For sure, man. I think one way and the keys that we see to beat Houston, like we talked about in years past with that defense, is knocking down threes. Squish is talk about how many threes they get up. So it's going to be important to not only run them off the line, but keep them. But we always do a good job of taking our opponent's best player and trying to.
Oh yeah, thank
Um,
you for that, brother. I want to say I'm not sure if he's their best player, but he got it done in the title game. Isaiah Brickner scored 23 points to help lead Idaho to the conference championship to win the Big Sky championship. So he might be the best player, but he did. I know he scored 23 points to help them win the Big Sky championship. So if he is their best player, then he'll be the Cougs' first player on the board to run off
scouting report.
the line and make him work and make other players beat them.
looking at their stats and numbers, they have a
Yes.
handful of. They have a good
And I
number
want
of
to say this
3-point
about
shooters, like you
St.
mentioned.
Mary's. Coach Randy Bennett, when he said, I think, Andy, you were there for post game when they played in Dickies Arena a few years ago. Coach Bennett did not want to play Houston in Dickies game. So they put him up. They put him up there. And so Houston will make them take tough threes and play Houston Cougar defense and rebound. And as I think you guys are coaches know, one of the important things early is to not give a team confidence. Don't let them get going and believe they have a chance to win the game. Let's go from there.
Sorry, there. I had a little bit of technical difficulties, but I was gonna say beforehand is just looking at the early stats at Idaho. They have a lot of good 3-point shooters. They have Geez, now when you look top to bottom, their roster is almost almost every one of you can't.
Nope.
I think Chris froze too. I'm still here. Y'all still here? Andy, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think it was the Fertitta Wi-Fi like lagged out for a second. Um, what I was gonna say, uh, Chris is trying to fix his technical difficulties. What I was gonna say in terms of Idaho is looking top to bottom with their roster is that they have damn near every one of their players is shooting over 30% from three. And that, to the point that Chris mentioned, could be something. It makes them a potent, dangerous team potentially. But I think Houston's going to do a great job at doing this. Got the moment that the Cougars were shown on the screen for Selection Sunday, and it was revealed they were going to be a 2 seed in the South region. All the assistant coaches, they celebrated, and then they went up through the tunnel. And they are already working on the scout. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they are currently putting together a specific game plan to attack Idaho as we speak, but they have a handful of different 3-point shooters. Their leading 3-point shooter is Miles Clapper, who shooting almost 44% from behind the arc. He averages not that many threes per game. When we're talking about their best 3-point shooter on a consistent basis, they get significant minutes. It's Isaiah Brickner, almost 12 points a game for Idaho, but they also have 4 different players that scored in double figures, average double figures for them this season. And Jackson Ramsman, Colton Mitchell, Biko Johnson, and to go along with Brickner, they all averaged at least 12 points. Jackson led the way with almost 14 points a game. So it looks like they have a handful of different offensive threats that for Houston, it's going to be very important that they don't take Idaho lightly. And we'll hear from the clip from head coach Kelvin Samson, the players here in a second, where they're going to give them the respect that they deserve being an NCAA tournament team. But Idaho kind of coming in with momentum, considering how they got into the tournament, winning their conference tournament, going on a run. At this point in the year, there's only good teams left, so you can't take anyone for granted. And I don't think Houston will starting Thursday.
I don't think they will, and that's not in the identity of the program. I think they'll be really ready, and I think they'll be excited, especially coming off a loss to Arizona. We know how Houston team and Coach Stanton teams respond after coming off a loss. So I think the attention to detail will be there. And I think I'm really looking forward to keeping the momentum as well as have JoJo has been playing, and even Chris. I think he didn't play as well in the Arizona game, but I think this would be a time against Idaho they can kind of build their momentum to build a pound in the glass and maybe get some touches.
I'm working on getting the answer to the tournament in terms of where they were seeded wise in the Big Sky tournament. I will pull it up in a second here. But while we wait for that, looking at the other regions, is there anything that stood out to you? I think for me, I want to focus on the East region when it comes to Duke's bracket. Duke is a number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament this year, and they're going to open up against 16 seed Siena. But I think that their region is actually pretty tough. They have 3 Big 12 schools in that region. They have Kansas, they have TCU, they have UCF. That's going to be an interesting matchup. Looking around the conference, looking at those matchups, it's UCLA and UCF in the first round. I think that could be a very, very good matchup for the Knights, who had a good showing in the Big 12 tournament, and even though they lost by double digits to Arizona, they showed some fight against one of the top schools in not just the Big 12 but overall I think in the country, and that could be a very interesting matchup for UCF. Looking at Kansas, we know what they have in Darren Peterson, and just the potential explosiveness they have in spurts. Whenever he's clicking, whenever Kansas is clicking, they potentially have enough firepower, I should say, to really give any team problems. And then TCU, they were scrappy. They were able to end the season really well. And then looking at the non-Big 12 schools in that region for Duke, you have UConn, you have a 3 seed in the region in Michigan State, 4 seed, like I said, Kansas, 5 in St. John's. They gave UConn fits, so they have a lot of tough opponents in that region, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how Duke responds. I don't think Duke has an easy path back to the Final Four, although they are the number 1 overall seed. What say you?
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. I think um, Duke is not only battle tested, but I don't think it's an easy. I think it's really a well put together bracket. Nick, pull the bracket back up. Let me look up that region. I can't
I'll
hear you
put the
yesterday.
full
Oh, there you go.
I'll put the full bracket here again on the screen.
Okay.
Someone's commenting, no, Auburn did not make the NCAA tournament, but again, looking at it, South Florida, former, American Athletic Conference foe, is also in that region. They had a strong season in the American. Looking at the West region, Arizona is the number 2 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. They are the number 1 seed in the West. I really like kind of their path to getting to the Final Four. They're in a region where,
Man, that they got a tough region because TCU has had some really, really impressive wins. They beat some of the top programs, top teams in this year. St. John's has been a consistent team all year. Kansas is a wild card if they can get it together. You already mentioned South Florida, Michigan State got a good size and a great point guard in Fierce. I think Duke actually has a tough region. They have a really
I
tough
think
region.
I think they might have the hardest out of all the 1 seeds to
Yeah,
be,
I agree.
well, with the exception of maybe Florida, because Florida has
Yeah,
to play. Obviously, they have Houston in the region, but I think top to bottom, Duke has a
Clemson.
lot of tough opponents. Um, I think Arizona has a great chance of going into the Final Four. Look at their
Yeah,
teams, the top seeds in their bracket. 2 seed for them is Purdue, who, I mean, they've obviously are consistent. They put together a good season, but I think Arizona matches up well with them. I think they can match their physicality, and then the guards, I think
I
they
think
have the
Arkansas is a
advantage in
good
that
matchup for
aspect.
Arizona, especially with the guard matchup. Man, they're
Yes,
having the
and
best player in the
Acuff
country,
with it,
Acuff.
yep,
Yeah,
what
but
they were able to
also,
do, that would be a
uh,
Sweet 16. Um, that could probably be the hardest game, in my opinion, when they play Arkansas
yeah,
in the
no,
Sweet
for sure,
16, if they
for sure.
both advance that far.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you for sure.
Gonzaga is a 3 seed in that region. BYU is the 6 seed. Like you said, Arkansas, the 4 seed, the 5 seed in the region. Wisconsin, um,
I think
Miami,
the toughest
who,
thing with Arkansas is they lack depth in the front court, and so it'd be hard to play with Arizona without depth in the front court, especially getting foul trouble. But their guard play is and the momentum that they have, and I think Darius Acuff is just playing so well right now. He can hit. Well, so is Jaden Bradley. But I wonder if that left wrist injury that he suffered against Houston will plague him going into the tournament. So I definitely agree. Duke. I think Duke has the toughest draw as number 1 seeds.
and then the last region we haven't focused on too much, but that's the Midwest region.
Yeah,
Michigan
that's
is the
easy.
number 1 seed in that region, and they're going to open up against Howard. But you look at the other teams in their region, Iowa State is the 2 seed there. They open up against Tennessee State. The 3 seed in the region, Virginia of the ACC. 4 seed, Alabama. Texas Tech is in the Midwest region. You have Georgia as an 8 seed. I think that's an interesting region. And
Yeah,
looking
and
for
I'm
Iowa
looking at
State.
I'm looking at teams trying to think who can make a Cinderella run. I think SMU is a team that can make a Cinderella run.
yeah, they start off having to play Miami, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
who obviously we know about them and the buzz that they built going 31-0 in the regular season, losing in the conference tournament, still being part of the first four in the first having to play in the first four games on that Tuesday or Wednesday whenever they play. But I agree. I think SMU is more talented than Miami, Ohio. I think SMU should win. And then they play a Tennessee team that's been inconsistent in stretches.
He got
The
a
Vols
shoe
are
in his
very
mouth.
talented. They're very talented, but they've been inconsistent over the course of the
Here,
entire
I can hold
season.
him. He need to eat. Go ahead.
And then
Uh,
Virginia, the 3 seed in that. Yeah, I really like
okay.
that region for Iowa State. I think Iowa State could make a run in the
Yeah, I think they
Midwest
can
region,
too. I think they can too.
especially it being close to.
Defensively, the way open, yeah, should come close to. Yeah, I think they can definitely make a run. Momchilovich, he's a pro. I remember when he gamed Jamal Sheard with that fadeaway. I seen then, and the way he's shooting the ball, I believe he's number one in the country in 3-point percentage shooting. I want to say, if I remember, high 40s, high 40 some percent. And so I like them as well. I like them as well, and in the D run. I really like us, man. I really like the draw that we got. I like the roles, how they've kind of defined themselves, and I think Mercy's playing with a lot of confidence. Chase is playing with a lot of confidence. We really did need our upperclassmen to contribute and be. I mean, it's time now. It's when to go home. So I need Emmanuel gonna have to come through. Milo's gonna have to come through. Specifically, them two.
Yeah,
Them two. I
like
think
we saw
Kingston gonna do
yesterday.
what he gonna do. Yeah, Kingston gonna do what he's gonna do. But I really like to how JoJo is playing because this is with the front. We've been all year. We've been talking about the inconsistency of having front court production, and JoJo has given that over this last 2 or 3 games, and so has Kris. So I think those two can be able to contribute. We don't need 20 and 10 from Kris. I mean from JoJo, but I think a solid 12 to 15, as well as dominating the boards, and we know what he's going to do with steals, block shots, and etc. The same thing with Kris, especially if Emmanuel and Milo's shot isn't falling. We need to be able to get some production from the inside and finish from close range.
I agree 100%, and that's kind of what we touched on after last night's game against Arizona. But really, how far this U of H team goes, especially once they get into, starting in the second round, whenever they have to play either Texas A&M or St. Mary's, assuming they can get past Idaho, which, and just speaking candidly, they should get past Idaho. I think I'm not really worried about that. I think they're going to be really focused and lasered in, kind of to your point that you hit on, Dayon, that they're going to be trying to get rid of that bad taste out of their mouth that they suffered at the hands of Arizona in the Big 12 tournament championship game. But I think that it is going to be very, very dependent on how good and well and consistent Milo Uzan and Emanuel Sharp play, because in order for them to get back to the Final Four, they're going to have a pretty strong run. Let's hear what head coach Kelvin Samson said about the selection Sunday and about Houston seeding and overall thoughts in the South region.
To being a number 2 in the South region.
Well, first of all, congratulations to all the teams that made the tournament. I know the sacrifice, the hard work that goes into doing something that's really hard, making that tournament. So congratulations to all the teams. For our team, being a 2 seed, I think it's an unbelievable achievement, especially this year in this conference. I mean, this Big 12, I think we're all prepared to go forward because of how tough all the schools were. Once you get a tournament, it's not going to matter, but you go in with a level of confidence that you can play with people. Now, whether you can beat them or not is another thing, but you know you can play with just about anybody. So, but University of Idaho, when I was the head coach at Washington State University, we played Idaho Vandals every year in the Kibbe Dome. One of my favorite assistant coaches ever graduated from the University of Idaho, Donnie Newman, who worked with Greg Popovich with the Spurs for about 12 years. So a lot of history. Coach Don Monson, probably the greatest coach ever there. I think in the early 80s, maybe 80, 81. But we're just excited to be in the tournament. I'm excited for our veterans, excited for our new guys, and excited for our fan base. I think where do we go? Oklahoma City. So hopefully we'll have a large contingent of Cougar fans in Oklahoma and help us win some games.
I know it's hard to look ahead, but given maybe some of the history and placements that you've had to go to other places that are close to other schools, does it mean something to be able to have the opportunity to play downtown Houston?
Oh, I haven't even thought about that, not going to think about it, out of respect for how hard it is to win a game. I've been in this tournament 20-some years. I don't remember how many teams I've taken. But I know how hard it is to win a game. I've seen UMBC beat Purdue. UMBC beat Virginia. Fairleigh Dickinson. I mean, so if you're a coach, that stuff like that doesn't seep in your mindset.
You've been in this situation so many times. Does the excitement and the feeling ever change every year?
The anticipation, I didn't really think about it last night. Trying to figure out when we cut the lead to 1 yesterday. I didn't watch the game, but I did watch the possessions after that, and I thought we played great defense. We had a couple, things go against us there, but I spent most of the night. Lauren had a flat tire, so I had to call AAA and wait for them. So I was sitting out there in my truck by myself watching game film. Well, the guy came and changed the tire, so I didn't get home till about 1:30. But when I woke up this morning, I said, today is Selection Sunday. And this is such an important day for basketball fans, players. I was thinking about Isaiah and Kingston and Kris the first time, Khalifa. We got 4 guys that's never played in this tournament. And those are the guys I was most excited for. Now the anticipation was, I'm anxious to see, I kind of thought we'd go to Oklahoma City. I anticipated that we would be a 2 seed, but I had no idea who the 7-10 would be, or kind of figured Florida would be, or who would be in the bracket with us. But the University of Idaho will have our full attention. We'll prepare for them. Kellen and the staff's already up there. Within 20 minutes, they'll have everything organized and be breaking down game film on Idaho. And
to being a number 2 in the South region.
Well, first of all,
Houston Cougars head coach Kelvin Samson talking about his thoughts on the seeding as we welcome in Fluff, McKiver. Fluff, how are you doing, sir? Oh, you're muted, sir. There you go.
Bad introduction, but I'm here.
No, you're good. You're good. What are your overall thoughts? What do you think of kind of the region, the bracket, the way it shook out for Houston?
I mean, I think it's perfect. I know coach don't want to think ahead, but what do we got to win? 2 games to get home?
Yep. First and second round.
First and second round to get home. It won't be easy, of course, but very, very good role to go 1 game at a time. And the excitement of going home. I think that is motivation. We don't want to, think ahead, but definitely motivation to get back home.
They're going to open up against Idaho on Thursday from Oklahoma City. They're going to take on the winner of St. Mary's, California versus Texas A&M. We were talking about it before you hopped on, Fluff, in terms of it's kind of it's going to be they're going to have a chance to face a lot of familiar opponents, or at least opponents that they faced in the past. But anything stands out to you about potentially having a rematch against Texas A&M or playing against St. Mary's in the second round?
Well, sometime when you're playing against somebody that you played against before, it's a gift and a curse. You know their tendencies, they know yours. And a lot of times being playing with a familiar playing against a familiar team is now it's gonna come down who's the better coach, who has the better game plan, who has the better tendencies and who has the better identity. And I think that that's us. So, that can really work into our advantage. We would, things happen, but I trust the coaching staff and I'll approach her to get it done.
We'll get into some of the other regions to get your thoughts, but in your opinion, Fluff, what's going to be the key for Houston to be able to make a deep run and not only get back to Houston, but get past Houston and go into the Final Four in Indianapolis?
Milo Zuzan and Emanuel Sharp. Milo
100%.
Zuzan and Emanuel Sharp. And this is compliment to them. This is compliment to the success that they have shown in their career as Houston Cougars. And, you know, I think that that's gonna be the key. The key is gonna be them and how productive and consistent they are offensively from the standpoint of percentages. So not really how many points they get, but like even if they're 4 for 7 for 14 to 15 points, or 5 for 9 for 17 points, just the efficiency from those two players because they're so dear to our heart and important to our team. So they're going to be important going down the stretch. Tugler is Tug JoJo Tugler. I don't know. Maybe I came to Texas and put something in the border. I don't know, man. But JoJo Tugler is really showing a lot of leadership and showing some real turning the corner of his performance. So if we can add that and make sure we have Emmanuel and Milo's on point, um, that'd be big for us. Not to not mention Kingston because he's been our most consistent perimeter player. Of course, we know what he has to bring. And also, it's okay, with Kingston getting 7 assists last game. It's okay if Emmanuel gets 22 and Kingston has 14 points and 10 assists. It's all about making the defense pay for what their game plan is and who they're trying to stop. Whoever's the next guy up to be amazing has to do it. And the other key is first name starts with M, last name starts with M. His name is Mercy Miller. If he can really be that spark plug off the bench and really give us 10 to 13 points with valuable minutes, that is going to have us in good position against anyone. And he showed that against the University of Arizona. So I'm excited about his confidence going through the roof, going in the tournament as our 6th to 7th man.
I agree 1000%. And I think just kind of adding to confidence is with JoJo, like you're talking about with his leadership. And remember how we've been talking about front court production? If we can get that, and like I said, it don't gotta be 20 points. He can be anywhere from 12 to 15 points, just being the threat off the roll, short roll, catching a little quick floater, or we throw it down to him. He got a mismatch, be able to go to the right or left hand. And same thing with Chris Sinak. I think just attacking the glass. Both of them got to attack the glass. Both of them have to eat up the glass. And but if we get that front court production from both of them, and I don't think it puts a lot of pressure on Emmanuel and Miles. But we need them. We need the efficiency. We need everything I said before you got on. We need both of them to really, really come through, man. Especially from a leadership perspective. They've both been here before, so we need it.
I agree 1000%. I think We've seen some of the comments from Alan Tran just in terms of Fluff. You mentioned Mercy Miller. I think you had Chase McCarty to the mix. They played great.
Sorry, 24 is such his energy. When sorry to cut you off, Andy, but I want to get this through is
Go ahead.
his energy on the bench and on the court is the same. And that's big for a team. His energy and how much he wants to win and how much he loves to be there is shown on the court and off. So he's definitely a big part of what we're doing.
Well, and to the point about what they did yesterday on Saturday against Arizona, they were key players, contributors to that run that got them within one. And when they made that comeback against Arizona in the Big 12 tournament championship game, JoJo Tugler, like you mentioned, had a phenomenal conference tournament run, and he needs to keep having that momentum. He had a solid end to the regular season, carried into the Big 12 tournament. Now he has to continue to do so in the NCAA tournament, because if he plays as phenomenal, if he plays like how he has been the past 6 games, I think that's not only going to bode well for Houston, but they're going to be really, really tough to beat. But the X factors, not even the X factors, you can call them that. The key players, important players, are going to be Milo Uzan and Emanuel Sharp. What production, what kind of stability do they provide for Houston when they play those top opponents in their NCAA tournament run? Speaking of which, let's hear what Emanuel Sharp had to say after it was made official that Houston was a 2 seed in the South region.
How does it feel now?
I mean, it's exciting every year. I get those butterflies turning, but it's exciting. This team's been, we worked hard from June until now, so it's good to see the work paying off.
How excited are you for the freshmen and some of the new guys to get to experience this?
Real excited, because March Madness, that's what it's all about. Everybody dreams about playing in March, so for these guys it's their first time. So I remember how I felt when I was a freshman, so I know they're excited.
I mean, the opportunity to play close to home, if you advance, you've been in tournaments where you've been on the other end of that. What's that like to have that chance?
I mean, obviously we're focused on the games in front of us, but for that to be a possibility is really exciting. We would love to play as close to home as possible. So we got we got games to win first, but it'll be exciting in the future.
After the way the season ended last year, right now, I know you don't want to think too far ahead, but you do have a goal in mind, and it's to get back to that final and win the championship. What are the thoughts like, the feelings like right now?
I mean, we're still trying to get better. We're still trending upwards. We're not at our peak right now, but this is the best time to be playing best basketball. We had a tough one in the championship yesterday, but we're getting better, and it feels that way. So it's just using every game that we play. Every game going forward is going to be a chance for us to get better.
On that note, what would you say are some of the things that you guys can improve to reach your peak?
Just being more disciplined on defense. Less fouling. I feel like if we can lower the fouls called, I think we'll be in every game that we play.
Since Kingston and Isaiah have not been in a situation before, how will you mentor them and help them succeed this week before you play Idaho?
I mean, there's not really much else to say. You just tell them to play hard. Play the big games. This whole tournament, the Big 12 tournament was a good chance for them to see what it's like to, play in a win or go home type tournament. And we played well, and it'll be a good chance for them to get into March and play.
Having been a 1 seed in the past and now a 2 seed, does that change anything? How does it maybe kind of come into play?
It doesn't change our approach. It just changes, who we're playing. We're still approaching every game with the mindset of competing at a high level and going out and winning every game. So I mean, nothing's changing, but the teams that we're playing.
How does it feel now?
I mean, it's exciting every year. I get the.
So once again, that was Houston Cougars guard Emanuel Sharp. I think it was interesting the point he made there about he still feels like they're an ascending team. They still have stuff that they want to work on. And in particular, he said they have to be more disciplined on defense. And specifically, it comes down to fouling, which has been an issue for him in recent games. He's starting to get into foul trouble consistently in several games, and that has definitely impacted Houston. It was a trend during the 3-game losing skid, and it was a trend again last time when they lost to Arizona in the Big 12 tournament championship game. That's going to be huge. Ultimately, it comes down, can they stay on the court? Like I said earlier, for them to be stabilizers for the Houston Cougars when they play those top-tier opponents.
Well, I think that that goes back to what we're saying about the leadership and just I think with Emmanuel, sometimes he's sometimes he gives I don't want to say too much effort because that's crazy to say, right? But I think that sometimes he's overzealous and a little greedy when we can't get it. And he's like, no, I can get it. And those where those reaches come and we get those fouls that we don't need. So if he could just focus on walling up and sliding and getting to spots a little better, I think that that would really help him stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah, and just like you said, it'd be like he's so attention to detail. He might try to get that extra slide to get when they coming on the screen and the guard drives right into him. And just so it's not like he's saying it's not necessarily giving too much effort because you don't want to say that, but it's like it's hard to put in the word. I think you said it good, but I don't think
Yeah.
we've talked enough about him staying out of foul trouble. Him like JoJo, they gotta stay out of foul trouble. They gotta stay out of foul trouble. Even if so, like we talked about yesterday, and when me and Chris agreed, if Emmanuel shot isn't falling and he isn't just stopping anybody in the offensive end, Mercy got to get those minutes. I mean, Mercy got to get those minutes. But I think that's one of the makes things for me watching Coach Sampson makes him so good. Often, a lot of times, is he lets each game dictate who's on the floor. And I know sometimes in crunch situations like yesterday, he'll go to his upperclassman who he trusts who's been there before. But in the game, depending on how the game is, but I trust Emmanuel. I think he just got to stay out of foul trouble. Just play his game. Just play his game.
And I think we got to look at maybe talk that JoJo being a real thing. That JoJo might have turned a corner.
No, for
I
sure,
think
for
we need
sure.
to. I think we need to throw it down there a couple more times to see what we could do because JoJo has looked amazing these and down the stretch right here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's earned talking about that trust. He's earned that trust, and just seeing. I think he's going to be a key factor, obviously for defense. I think he's turned the corner specifically with discipline himself, especially the last handful of games. He stayed on the court. He stayed out of foul trouble. And one of the things that he mentioned after they beat Kansas, he's made it a point of emphasis to not kind of to your point that you said, Fluff, about what Emanuel Sharp has to do. Jojo Tugler said that he's kind of trying to change his mindset where he doesn't have to block every shot. He just has to contest it, make it as difficult as possible, and live with the results and not try to, get his hands on every single shot, which he felt is what got him in foul trouble earlier in the season.
Right. And him and Sharp is very similar, just a little overzealous, but he doesn't. I hope he realizes even him walling up and going straight up in the air, he can still get those same blocks. I think sometimes big men don't realize is if I got my hands all the way up and the ball hits my hand and it goes the other way, that is still a block too. So I think he needs to realize that even if he walls up and gets his hand on the basketball, those are blocks and stops at the same time too. Just like going to get it off the glass or smacking it out the air as far as the entertainment piece of it, but they're the same blocks. Tim Duncan was the best. He get it. Nope, he gets nothing. We go the other way. So
As we kind of begin to wind things down, Fluff, I'm going to put the bracket back. I want to get your thoughts on some of the other
please
regions. And I think Dayon and I were talking about. I'll
let
put
me
the
pick
whole
it. Let me
bracket.
pick the final four right quick. We got a little bit of
Oh,
time. Let me see
oh,
that bracket.
that's perfect. We'll focus on different regions. Actually, let me see if I can find a better graphic going region by region. Um, mm, nah, we're just gonna have to go with the full. Let me see if I go to NCAA, the NCAA.com. But Fluff, I'm gonna be curious to hear your thoughts right now in a second when I pull it up. But we feel like Duke had the hardest draw, even though they were the number one overall seed. They have a lot of they just have a lot of tough teams in their bracket. Let's see here. I mean, here we
Hey,
go.
hey, look at
This would be
Mr. Big
easier.
Tex Co. I'm with you, Mr. Big Tex Co. He said, slow down, pump your brakes. Hey,
What do you say?
he said, slow down, pump your brakes. I'm glad JoJo has had a couple good games lately. I would feel different he was doing this all year. Now, we kind of said that yesterday. That's why we criticized him like we did, but we just got to give props, and he hot right now.
Yeah, give props to what he's done because he's put together. Obviously, we agree. That's kind of what we expected. That was the type of the season, those performances we expected from the get go. Was we might have been very harsh on him, but through
Hold
six
on.
games, the past 6 games, he's done it. So here's the full bracket. Fluff, are you going to talk about JoJo, or do you want to focus on the bracket? We can focus on the East region first.
Well, what JoJo is, what we have to understand about basketball, right quick, just to touch that right fast, is it's about momentum. So it's not about really what he's shown or what he's done for the totality of the year. It's more about the momentum that he has now going into the
And
tournament.
confidence.
You know what I'm saying? The most important season is the 6 game season. So he's going into that season with a lot of offensive confidence. That's what it's about.
Now, again,
Let's get to that
here's the full.
bracket.
Yes, sir. Here's the full bracket. Let's focus on the East first. So Duke is the
Okay.
number one overall seed in the tournament. They open their run against Siena.
Siena.
Uh, they will play the winner of Ohio State, TCU. They have 3 Big 12 schools in their bracket. Then potentially they have a Sweet 16 matchup between St. John's, who's the 5 seed. They will open their NCAA tournament run against Northern Iowa. Kansas is in the East region as well. They open up against Cal Baptist. Louisville will take on South Florida. Louisville is the 6th seed in Duke's bracket. Michigan State is the 3rd seed. They open against North Dakota State. And then UCLA and UCF is the 7th-10th matchup. And then they have UConn in the East region against Furman. They will open up against Furman. So a lot of heavyweights in that East region.
Dang.
Even for
That's a
them being the
crazy
number one
one.
overall seed, they drew a very, very tough region.
So I'll say this. First of all, the first game is gone. They're playing against a dog head coach. I played against him in college. They're playing against Jerry McNamara. He's nothing to sneeze at. Um, he's gonna have his troops ready to compete and try their hardest. And then you got Ohio State and TCU. That's nothing to sneeze at. So I think they get away from those 2 games though. Now, going into the next bracket of St. John's, Northern Iowa, they're gonna play the winner out of St. John's, potentially in Kansas. That's gonna be tough. Um,
Who do you got in that if they do match up in St. John's versus Kansas?
St. John's and Kansas, St. John's versus Kansas.
Yes.
I got St. John's. I don't know what it is, but I gotta roll with Patino. Like he got UConn number right now. He's just been doing this a long time. So I gotta go with St. John's right there. Louisville, if let's say that they came out of that, you got Louisville, Michigan State. Michigan State probably would win that Louisville or South Florida, Louisville, Michigan State. Duke, Michigan State is crazy.
It's
So
a real good matchup right there.
that's a real good matchup right
Michigan
there. Now
State
I'm gonna
got
tell you,
size. Jeremy Fears. I like that guard too, Jeremy Fears.
yeah. So right there, I like Michigan State right there. I like Michigan State right there. I like Michigan State right here. I think I have. So now you have to ask me St. John's and St. John's and Duke, right?
Well, and what about UConn? What about UConn in that region? Because they will play the winner of UCLA UCF, and then after that they would probably, if they advance to the Sweet 16, would have to play Michigan State or Louisville first. Do you think that Michigan State would knock off UConn?
Yeah, they would have to knock off UConn first.
It's tough.
Yo,
that
it's
just goes to
tough.
that goes to show how tough of a bracket that is. By the way,
That's a crazy bracket. Who did that? That's
that's the
that's
reward that he
crazy. I don't
gets.
even
That's
know who
the
to say
reward
who's
he gets.
coming out of it.
It's tough.
Honestly,
It's tough.
because they dropped the ball last year a little bit, they might be a little more hungry. St. John's might come out of here, man.
Wow, that would be very in the East too. So you know that
Because you
St.
think
John's
about it,
gonna
they got
travel.
UConn's number. They
Yes.
got their number. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know, but I don't see. I don't put it like this. I'm gonna what I'm gonna do for Let's Raise Cougs. I'm gonna really go through a bracket, pick my teams, put it on here,
Hey,
post it
we
on
should do
Instagram.
it. Hey, you know what? We should do a Let's Race Coolidge bracket. Post the link out online and let
Yeah.
people fill out the brackets.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Yes.
should do our individual brackets. That'd be
Yeah,
Yep.
cool.
let's do it.
So
Let's
I
do it.
want to tell Let's Raise Cougs that I'm gonna do a bracket of both of all the sides, but I don't see Duke coming out of there.
Yeah, looking at it,
I don't
I
see
don't
Duke
think
coming out
that
of there. I don't want to just I'm picking scattered picks, but I don't see Duke coming out of there.
it's a tough region. Looking on the other side, on the West, Arizona's the number one seed in the West. They're the
Mm-hmm.
second overall one seed. They
Mm-hmm.
open up their run against Long Island. Then they'll play the winner in Villanova, Utah State.
That's light.
Wisconsin is the five seed in that region. They play High Point, and they will take on Fluff. I know you are a big fan of a player on this team in Arkansas who opens their run against Hawaii. They are the fourth seed in the West region.
Mm-hmm.
BYU, they are going to play one of the first four teams. I'm trying to remember who it was that they'd match up, but BYU's in
I
that
think it
region.
was Texas and NC State. Terrence Arsenault, Tremont
Yep.
Markham.
Oh, that's
Both of them
yeah,
teams, if I
that's a
remember
very
correctly.
interesting. That's a very interesting
Fluff, what you think
first
of that
four game.
potential Arkansas Arizona matchup?
I don't know. That's gonna be a goodie.
If they do play,
Yo,
they
I
play in
just
the
gotta
Sweet
sit
16.
and drink some coffee and really try to pick it. I don't know, but Arkansas can easily come out of there too.
Well, and arguably Arkansas might be the toughest opponent that Arizona faces because you look at the other side. No, I mean not to take away anything from Purdue, but I feel like Purdue would match up well against Arizona.
I
And
think
Yeah.
then
Purdue can get
and
upset by Miami.
Yes.
That's an upset alert right there. But Miami, they play in
Yes.
Missouri in St. Louis, so that's gonna be a home game for Missouri.
Yeah.
Miami come out of that, I think they can upset Purdue.
Yeah.
then Gonzaga's a 3 seed.
Okay. So let's go down.
The
Let's talk about it.
Midwest. Oh, I was gonna you want to continue with the West or go down to the Midwest?
Let's go west. Let's go. Let's continue with the West because there's some games that Wisconsin. I'm trying to see if there's any friction with Arizona on that side. The only friction Arizona has on that side would be
Arkansas.
BYU, Arkansas, and Gonzaga. That's the friction I've seen on that side. What do you guys
They
think?
definitely. I know. I agree. I think they have. Honestly, I think they have a very favorable path to the Final Four.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
arguably their toughest opponent could be Arkansas,
Yeah.
and it'll be curious to see who comes out on the other side between Gonzaga. I think it'll be one of those three schools in Gonzaga, Miami, or Purdue.
Mhm.
Although I guess it'll be interesting to see how BYU can do, because they're probably going to have the best player on the court every time they play a game in the
That's what I'm
NCAA
saying.
tournament.
Like BYU is always gonna be scary, you know?
So who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe BYU gets to the Sweet 16 Elite Eight and they throw everyone for a loop. BYU Gonzaga, that's the second round matchup. That'd be a really good matchup.
Gonzaga has a really good team too. Got a good
Yep.
freshman.
Now going down to the Midwest, the 1 seed in the Midwest is Michigan. You have the 2nd seed Iowa State, and they are going to open their run against Tennessee State. And then Iowa State, Tennessee State would play the winner of Kentucky and Santa Clara, who I expect Iowa State to get out of their first round matchup. And honestly, I like them matching up against Kentucky if that is indeed who they face. And then the 3 seed in the Midwest is Virginia, and they will be playing the winner of Tennessee and the first 4 matchups that the first 4 winner they have to play. Alabama's the 4 seed in the Midwest.
That's a scary play. That's a scary team.
They open their run against Hofstra, and then Texas Tech, a banged
Upset
up
alert.
Texas. Yep, they open their run against Akron. I think even with the injuries, I think they get past Akron. But yeah, they have to play Alabama in the second round. That's a nod to Alabama.
But upset alert. Remember, I told you this. Who does Hofstra play? Alabama.
Yep.
Just upset alert, not upset confirmation. Just I want to Amber alert it. Okay.
Interesting.
Like Hofstra has Speedy Claxton at the helm. They take on his personality. That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be Alabama. Alabama's gonna, of course, the big time favorite, but they got to punch him in the mouth very, very early.
Do you think if they hang around, that's bad for Alabama?
Yeah, because Hofstra, they're gonna play.
I almost went to Hofstra. It was either between Hofstra and U of H. I got accepted into Hofstra.
All right, man. Well, you made the right pick, D. I mean, shouts to Hofstra. You know what I'm saying? But you picked the right H. I don't know. Hold on. Sidebar. Look, wait a minute, D. And you know you my man, 100,000 grand. But for you to compare Hofstra and the University of Houston is diabolical. Okay? Come on, man. Listen. I would have said something like this. Hofstra called me, I ain't pick up. You said, Hofstra called me. I didn't pick up. Houston called me 5 minutes later. I said, what Hofstra was calling me for? You know what I mean? That's
Nah,
how I would have put
they
it.
got one of the
You know
top
what I
journals in
mean?
the
Come on
program, man.
now. Come on. It's H-Town, baby.
Nah, for sure.
Okay, all right. Hey, you my pal. That's what we here. That's what friends are for. We
Nah,
correct each other, man.
facts.
Come on.
And then the last region, Fluff, the South region, the Houston's in.
Okay.
The 1 seed is Florida.
Okay.
They're gonna
We'll see
play
y'all
the
again
winner of
anyway.
Prairie View A&M, the winner of Prairie View A&M or Lehigh.
Hey, what up, Kimbo?
That's who they will open up with. Houston, Idaho. We talked about it. Texas A&M, St. Mary's, but then you have Illinois as a 3 seed against Penn.
Illinois
North Carolina.
scared me a little bit, but that's a threat.
And then North Carolina, who's lost their best player, they take on VCU. I think that could be a very potential upset alert right there.
Up to VCU, North Carolina, definitely.
After North Carolina lost their best player, Nebraska is the 4th seed in the South. They open against Troy. Vanderbilt is the 5th seed. They open against McNeese. And then Clemson is the 8th seed, and they are opening against 9th seed Iowa.
Okay.
Thoughts on the South?
It's looking like Florida, Houston. You know what I mean? In the 8, right?
Yeah, that would be the Elite 8 matchup. That'd be a rematch, obviously, of the national championship game.
Hey, but Fluff, I was talking about Illinois. They legit.
I just said that. I want somebody to knock them off.
Yeah, for real. They legit.
I want somebody to knock them off. And Penn would be good.
The problem is VCU, North Carolina, Penn. That's who they have to get to get to the Sweet 16.
We might have 2 tougher games in the beginning than they do. Honestly. If you go, who we got? Idaho and
they play Idaho first, and then either St. Mary's or Texas A&M.
Right. Those are 2
Illinois
tougher games. Then
they'll get past Penn,
Then
and then they'll
Penn
have to
and
an injured North Carolina team or VCU.
well, it's about the same. About the same. About the same
But I
competition
think
level
I think Illinois, you could pencil them in for the Sweet 16.
for sure.
Any thoughts on Florida? How do you think Florida shapes up on their side of the South?
I think I think they'll get to we'll match up, but I don't see any friction for them on that side. Do you guys see any friction for them on that side?
Nah.
Honestly, not really.
I don't
Well,
see any friction. Huh?
Vanderbilt knocked them off in the SEC
Oh,
tournament. I think that makes Florida,
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. Sorry, Andy.
although no, but I think that makes Florida more dangerous because they'll be locked. They'll if they do have a
Right, that's
rematch, which
true.
would be in the Sweet 16. I think Florida would be really, really locked in. Um, but Vanderbilt, they beat them by 20 in the SEC semifinals and the SEC tournament semifinals. So that's something to keep an eye on. And that's all the matchups. So we do need to do that. We need to have an official bracket. Post them. We'll post our brackets, and then we'll see who's right.
Yes, sir.
Alan Trent says Nebraska is good, Rook, as well.
Nebraska is good. Nebraska is good. They got a pro head coach, Fred Hoiberg, over there. Good program. I watched them play maybe 2 or 3 times this season too. They can really shoot it.
I think that was interesting. They said that Nebraska's never won an NCAA tournament game, so they're going to
Really?
be looking. That's what they said on the selection show. So we'll see.
That's Tyronn Lue went there.
Oh, damn, he sure did.
Tyronn Lue.
Well,
Wow.
as we kind of wrap things down, Fluff, Dayon, any final thoughts on the bracket and just overall Houston's run and in general? Any other teams across the nation? As it's the best time of the year now that we have a bracket set and the NCAA tournament is just days away from tipping off.
I have some teams that I know this is the less raised Cougs, so I think that our road is going to be it looks smooth until we get to Florida. Nothing like Coach Samson said. Every game is hard because any basketball game is hard to win. At the same time, I see us playing Florida on that side. I think that um, our perimeter defense mixed in with our interior defense can really get Florida this year. Um, they have good guard play, but it's different. It's a little different than last year. The
And ain't as
perimeter
tough
was a
as it
little
was
bigger.
last year. Last year, they was tough.
Yeah, yeah. And you got to think about it. We have one, two, three. We have three starters that played
Hmm.
in that game, right? Played
Yep.
national championship game,
Emmanuel, Milos, and Tugler.
right? So this ain't gonna be no new trick. They're gonna have the young fella ready, the two young fellas ready. I see us coming out of that region, being back in the Final Four. Um, Duke, I think I have Michigan State or St. John's coming from that side. Of course, who's the other number one seed on the other side?
Forget all that
On the
fluff.
other, in the West, it's
Fluff. I'm gonna meet you in H Town, baby. I'm meeting you in H Town. H
Hey,
Town, where it go down, man. I'll meet you downtown Houston.
oh,
We'll be there.
listen,
I'm meeting you there.
listen, listen, listen. Sidebar. I will see you guys out there. Okay,
Yeah,
we got two games. I don't. We got two games to get, and I will see you guys out there for sure.
for sure.
Okay, so that's what it is. But at the same time, honestly, though, we got work to do. I know we're talking about the other sides, but we got work to do, and I think it's one game at a time, and it's a 6 game season.
yep,
It's a 6 game
that's all that
season.
matters now.
Whatever happened in the past, whatever shots you missed, young fellas. I know we follow each other on the Instagram. I just want to let y'all know whatever happened before these games right here. That's what
Doesn't matter.
happened. We still a 2 seed. That means we weathered the storm. We just lost a Big 12 championship game to a number 1 seed on the other side. we could see them again. So if we had to pick which one they was going to get us in, we picked the Big 12 championship game, not the national championship game. So, we got a real big opportunity. It's gonna be a beautiful tournament though. It's gonna be who's the other number one seed down bottom?
Michigan.
Northeast?
Michigan, yep.
Uh, in the East
Michigan.
is Duke. In the East is Duke. Midwest is Michigan.
Michigan. Okay, I'm sorry. So Michigan, we don't talk enough about Michigan. They're
Look at
tough.
Spider right here. I need.
Yeah,
So
they put together a really strong season, and they've been consistent. I mean, this year, the whole season, it's been a kind of a three-headed monster at the top in college basketball with Arizona, Michigan, and Duke. And Michigan has definitely earned the right at being that one seed. So it'll be interesting to see how they do in their region, representing the Big Ten. Um,
I got to think. I
Arizona.
got it.
I think that's a great point that you said too, Fluff. If Houston does, they
right,
the way the bracket ran out, they don't have to worry about Arizona until the championship game.
right.
That's a long way to go. Now it's a 6-1
But what I'm
season
saying
starts
though,
Thursday.
Andy, is if that is a matchup, if that matchup happens, if we had to pick what championship game to lose, it would be the Big 12 championship.
Yes, versus the Natty. No, for sure.
Because it's hard, two great teams going against each other. It's hard to beat one of them, it's hard to beat the other one twice.
Yeah,
They've beaten us twice,
twice.
right?
So it'd be hard. It'd be really hard to beat
Hard,
them 3 times.
sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. It's hard to beat them three
Yeah,
times.
3 times. Yep.
So if we met them in the championship game, that'd be their third time. They ain't beating us three times. I'm telling you, that's gonna be the whole Samson and the crew. That's gonna be the whole vibe in the locker room. We're not losing to them three times. So, we got a long way to go to get there, but we'll go one game at a time.
That being said, it's official. The top. I don't know why I muted there for a second. Gonna say is that the time is official. Houston and Idaho will tip off at 8:55 p.m.
8:55.
on
What
Thursday.
time we play?
8:55 Central Time. So Fluff, it'll be late game for you.
Be late for
9:55
you,
East
Fluff.
Coast time.
So
Get your coffee,
what
Fluff.
time is Let's Race Coogs? 2 in
It's
the
gonna be
morning.
about yeah,
No, it'll be like midnight
midnight.
for you. Midnight East Coast time.
Y'all always
It'll
say
be around.
midnight. That's like
No,
y'all
but
favorite number, but it's not really the number.
this time it will be. It'll be
Yo,
midnight East Coast.
it'd be like 12:40 my time. Y'all
Yeah,
like, yeah, midnight. Y'all and y'all mind, y'all thinking,
it's
yeah,
gonna be close
midnight.
to
We 20
midnight.
minutes early.
Yeah.
Yeah. They like, yo, what Fluff talking about? It's
No, that's funny.
11:40. No, it's
That's funny.
12:40 on this side. I love y'all dudes though, but 9:58. Okay, we play Thursday, right?
Yep. Yep.
Boom. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yes, sir.
I'm
And
wearing
that's
red
the
all
best time
week.
of the year.
All week, facts.
As you should. That's the
I
best
got
time of the
stuff
year.
coming here. I got stuff coming here all week. Y'all know I don't lie, man. So on Thursday, let's come suit. When we come to Let's Rage Schools on Thursday, let's come suited and booted.
Yeah, perfect.
Jody,
Enough said right there.
let's go,
Fluff,
baby boy.
as we wrap it up, any final thoughts and where can people find you, sir? Anything you'd like to shout out?
Man, you can find us on, you can find me on Elm City Elite. Also, Rob McKiver on
Keep the ass
Instagram.
out, boy.
TikTok too, Fluff McKeever on TikTok, Facebook, Rob McKeever, and our Elm City Elite page on Instagram. You know, big things coming all spring and summer. Shouts to the Cougs, very excited for another tournament run. And we're gonna go one game at a time. And shouts to the gang. Let's go, Cougs.
Man, you can find me at Dayon Dunlap on all social media platforms. Shout out to Pro Life Elite Boys. They was in Kansas City. They went 4-0 in the Three Stripes Junior Adidas Circuit and the 14U. And man, I'm looking forward to my girls' season. We had a tournament this past weekend. Just some discrepancies with the way it was set up, so we didn't get to finish the full tournament. But we got some good exposure to what's to come and talent. So we back in the lab tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to it, man. Also, read all week, like Fluff said. You know what it is. Go Coogs.